Greg, I'm so excited to talk to you after we just returned home from Sportfish Panama Island Lodge. I'm still recovering. How about you?
I'm the same. It was very demanding and I wasn't prepared for what was going to go on.
It was quite a trip. You, more than others, had an extraordinary trip, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So, what was your biggest fish prior to this trip?
Prior to this trip, it was about 100-pound sailfish, estimated from Guatemala, and that was quite a shock too from what I usually catch around home. So,
right,
100 pounds is a lot.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but like I've been on that trip to Casa Vieja Lodge, and the boat kind of backs up to help you fish that. So it doesn't take more than 10 minutes to get that fish in.
No.
Right. So so what were your expectations as far as size going into this trip to Panama?
Well, I wasn't really sure. I was kind of looking around at some of the fish I'd caught, and I watched some YouTube videos, and anywhere from like 15 to like 40, 50 pounders, I thought was a good fish, typical fish.
Typical. Yes, that is typical.
Having never caught a tuna before, I wasn't really sure, how big that was, comparable to me or whatever. So
okay, so I wasn't on the boat with you that day, but it was your turn, I guess, to or not your I guess to throw out and catch a fish. And tell us how it went.
Well, what happened was, so I was on just basically that side of the boat because they threw a couple chunks out behind the boat when the tuna started feeding, and the mate hooked one of them and handed me the rod and just said, "It's a good one." And boy, was it. So I kind of just watched the reel scream drag for a while and just run away from me, and I moved to the other side of the boat as chaos is breaking loose, and they're trying to get the plate on me and the belt on me, and just to get ready for a fight, which I had no idea what that entailed.
So at what point did you know that this was an unusually big fish?
Well, probably an hour into it.
An hour?
I don't know. Because time kind of went weird. Like, I was not ready for this, and I'm like, they're like, oh, you fight a fish for like 15, 20 minutes, and I thought that was a long time, and it would just you start to get back some line, and then it would just peel it out again, and then you get back and peel it out again, and after a dozen times of that happening, I'm like, this isn't small.
And could you handle the rod? I mean, was that an issue?
Yeah, well, once they got it in the plate, it wasn't as bad, but it was a heavy fish, and so I didn't really know the best technique, just being pretty green for going down there. So my techniques were a little abstract, so I may have put a foot up on the reel and got some looks, and it got heavy. It got real heavy after a while.
Okay, so did the mate or captain help with technique at some point?
They tried, along with one of the other anglers, kind of telling me how to sit back in the harness and, or lean against the cab, or, keep the rod up and dip and reel when you could and stuff. But it just,
it's kind of hard to think about that as you're right. I mean, I helped pull in a 205-pound tuna, All right. So at any point, did you think about handing over the rod?
Yeah, I actually kept looking over at the other guys who were a little bit older and smarter than me, and apparently, because I kept asking them, like, does anybody else want to turn? Because this is the first big fish of the trip of the boat that I was on. This is the first day, and yeah, so I said, does anybody else want in on this? They're like, no, this is a fish of a lifetime. It's all yours.
Oh, lucky you, right?
Right.
All right. So how long did the overall fight take?
Well, it took 2 hours and 10 minutes is what they told me, and about halfway in or three-quarters, I kept glancing at the Simrad, looking at the time and looking at where the fish was, and then they kept yelling at me to focus on the rod. Stop looking at where the fish was. So, yeah, that's what they told me. I was 210, and I felt every minute of it, too.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so talk to me about the belt and harness you were talking about.
Yeah, so it was a Seamount fish harness, one of the plastic ones, and when the fish took off to the side, the rod got crooked in there,
Yeah.
and the torque broke the bolt out, and the rod bounced off the gunnel, and there's people jumping after it, and it was still tethered to me, luckily. But yeah, there was a bit of panic at that moment.
Panic in your eyes too, yeah?
Yeah. I'm like, it'd been over an hour, and then it finally gave free, and then they're trying to scramble to get another belt on me, and yeah, I'm good with the chaos, I think.
Oh my God. I can't. Well, anyway, we know you got it in. So once the fish, so you obviously won this battle.
Right.
So like, how did you, I mean, 2 hours and 20 minutes, you didn't like prepare for this before you came.
No, it hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
So
I kept looking at those guys, and they're like, no. And yeah, so I'm trying to. That was the problem with my technique. I think I was trying to rest certain either my back or my arms or my shoulders or whatever, and so I would just kind of lean back and let the fish just kind of pull a little bit, and then get as much line as I could, obviously, and then it finally started coming up, and you finally started to see color, and I had no idea how big this fish actually really was until it got closer and closer. And so then what happened is we had one of the anglers and then the captain and the mate. So there was 2 gaffs. They got a gaff in it, and luckily, because with all the pressure that had been put on this fish, and with all the fight, and I suppose the shock of the rod bouncing and that, as soon as they got a gaff in it, the swivel, the snap sprung.
Oh my God!
I looked over there because I didn't realize it at the time. So they had one gaff in the fish, and then they got another gaff in it, and then they got it up high enough to where the third guy could get a hand in the gill plate, and they're like, okay, let loosen the drag. And I looked, and I'm like, it broke. I'm like, I'm sitting up. I'm like, I'm not cooked that fish anymore. Did you guys unhook it or what?
Oh no!
Yeah. So the fish is over the side of the boat, unhooked.
Oh.
I had no idea. So yeah, once they got it up, they started to get over, and that thing hit the floor and walloped on that floor, and I was like, it was crazy how big this fish was.
So all right, here. You're tall.
Right.
You're a big dude. All right, so how tall are you? And okay, so how much do you weigh? You don't ask me that question. I won't answer. But how much do you weigh?
Just a little over 300 pounds, and I'm 6'5", and when we finally got it up on the towel, and I was standing up with it because my arms were like jello at that point. it took an effort, put it that way. It came up to like my nose, so you could barely see my face. Obviously, you can see in the photos, but yeah.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
So I know when you guys brought it back, I know they said that the fish, when you guys brought it back to the island to get it really weighed, hanging.
Yep.
They said that the scale might have been off by 25 pounds. So that fish we decided was either 222 pounds or 247 pounds. Either way,
Yeah.
you brought
Somewhere
that.
in between, but yeah.
You brought that fish in all by yourself.
Yeah.
That.
And I still can't believe it.
Yeah, I was there. I mean, I wish I was there. I was there in the same vicinity, but unbelievable. And
It was.
Yeah. How many sandwiches do you think we produced out of that?
I was just gonna bring it back and say, hey, dinner's on me for the rest of the week.
For the month. I know.
Yeah.
I do know that that smoked tuna dip that we had.
Yeah.
That I believe that came from the belly of your fish.
Yeah. The chef said he was gonna smoke the tuna belly, and so we had the dip and just regular smoked tuna belly. And it was really good.
It was. I've never had that before. That was outstanding. So thank you. And I did ask for the recipe, and Chef Lee said to me, "Well, where are you going to get tuna belly from?" I was like, "Oh, you got a good point." So he's like, "Forget it." Oh my God! So pound for pound, is that the strongest fish you've ever caught?
Oh, 100%.
Are you sure about that?
I would say so. Off the top of my head, yes. I don't think there's a lot of fish up here in Minnesota that pull that hard.
How about now? Because I do know I was on a boat with you a few days later, where there was. Remember that one?
Yeah, that one.
The one that got away.
Yeah, the one that was way bigger, probably. Maybe.
And
the one that came up to the surface and gave us the fin and
said goodbye. Yeah, but I'm serious. But those tuna, pound for pound. I mean, I caught 125 pound sailfish. That doesn't even come close. Like I don't even remember that. These tuna, even I caught a 30 pounder, and it was like foul hooked around the tail. I thought I had 100. These fish are so strong, it's ridiculous.
Even the smaller ones, the 20 pounders, when they come up and grab the popper and they start screaming, drag, running away from you, yeah, you think it's huge.
So are you ready for a bigger one?
Maybe different species, bigger one. That's probably about as big a tuna as I'll ever catch. Probably. I don't know.
You got a point. Oh my goodness. So what? This was a trip of a lifetime for you. Any other besides this 250 pound tuna? Is there anything else that you want to say about the trip that you took?
Yeah, it was amazing meeting all the different people that Half's First Cast got together and brought down there. It's so interesting, all the different walks of life and all the different people that collect to fish for these and it was super cool. Everybody was really cool, and it's just everybody gets together at night and at dinner and tells the fish stories of the ones you got or the ones that got away and it's just super cool talking to you and Pete and everybody else.
I know, it's funny. I feel like I've known you forever, which is great. I know that you found us you heard about us from BTL, Bass Talk Live. I think that's so cool. and then you contacted us, and you went to Casa Vieja Lodge through us, and then you came with us on to the Sportfish Panama Island Lodge in Panama. I feel like I've known you forever. It's great, and I hope that we travel again together. I hope we get to meet your wife, and she gets to come on one of these trips, maybe to Alaska.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It was so much fun. Tell me what the next fish on your bucket list is, and maybe we can help you get that.
The next fish I want to catch, I would really like to put a marlin in the boat, or so to speak, land a marlin.
Yeah, good for you. Yes, I'm right there with you. So I'm hoping that we are in the boat together, and there's more than one.
Yes, that would be super fun.
That would be super fun. Well, I can't wait to go fishing with you again. Whether it's here in the States, back in Panama, down in Guatemala, or even in Alaska. Although there's no marlin in Alaska.
Right.
But you are now part of the Half Past First Cast family, and you're not going anywhere. So
Exactly.
stay
That's
tuned
super
for
awesome.
our next trip together. And I can't wait for people to hear about this. And I can't wait for people to hear about this and see the size of that tuna.
Exactly.
All right. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon, Greg. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Talk to you later.